Caitlin Clark to the New York Liberty? Confirmed? You guys? The photo circulating went viral of Caitlin Clark in the bowels of the Barclays Center with Liberty coach Sandy Brondello and Breanna Stewart.
The basketball world is abuzz, and for good reason. What began as a routine post-game tunnel exchange has rapidly escalated into the most talked-about story in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's standout guard, was recently seen in what looked like a discreet meeting with New York Liberty stars Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, alongside head coach Sandy Brondello.
Well, we're going to talk about this little scene that took place after the Fever game last night in New York between Sandy Brondello and Caitlin Clark, the New York Liberty, and the agent. The agent. That is what makes this so...
But this wasn't just a routine chat between rivals. Standing among them was Caitlin Clark's agent, Erin Kane, an unexpected presence that transformed casual banter into a moment loaded with speculation. Suddenly, fans across the WNBA are asking the same burning question. Is the league's biggest star already plotting her exit from Indiana?
Many people is insinuating that Caitlin Clark could be trying to plan the outs of Indiana. Yes. People is already saying that Caitlin Clark could be trying to get the hell out of Indiana.
Following the Liberty's commanding 98-77 win over the Indiana Fever on Wednesday night, something unprecedented unfolded in the tunnel of Barclays Center. Although Caitlin Clark was sidelined with a lingering groin injury, she still made the trip to New York, a move that already had fans talking. But what happened next ignited a firestorm of speculation across the basketball world.
A WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. And today, we have just seen the New York Liberty players, after the game, meeting up with Caitlin Clark. It is Stewie, it is Sabrina Ionescu, there is Sandy Brondello. And by the way, Stewie is not leaving New York the rest of her career. That is one thing that I will be
Clark and her agent, Erin Kane, were seen engaged in what looked like a focused, private conversation with Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello, flanked by stars Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. The scene was anything but accidental. This wasn't a random hallway run-in. It had the feel of a deliberate, strategic meeting between a rising superstar, her representation, and what many view as the gold standard of women's basketball organizations.
The Blitz, Sandy, Sap, and Stewie are all talking to Caitlin Clark in the tunnel. So my guess is this right here happened at the conclusion of the game. This, my friends, is currently going viral all over social media right now. That is Caitlin Clark immediately after the game. Now, what's crazy is that her team lost the damn game, but Caitlin is all smiles. She's all
Clark and the Liberty players shared smiles and laughter, creating a viral moment that instantly set social media ablaze with speculation. For a player who has endured relentless pressure and physicality from opponents throughout her career, seeing her so at ease with the Liberty's leadership was both heartening for her supporters and deeply unsettling for Fever fans.
This is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
If you're enjoying this story, be sure to subscribe. Now, let's be honest about what's happening in Indiana. The Fever entered the 2025 season with championship ambitions, launching a bold "Now You Know" campaign that promised dominance. They brought in seasoned veterans like Dana Bonner and Natasha Howard, hoping to build a title-worthy roster around their franchise star. But here's the truth: the Fever are currently sitting at 12-11, struggling to define their identity. Injuries have taken a toll. Clark has already missed 11 games this season due to various issues, and even when she's on the court, consistency remains elusive. One night they look like contenders. The next, they're getting blown out by teams they should easily handle.
Getting on national TV, being paid by ESPN, paid by CBS, and have the nerve to look at the viewing public, lie to them, and say the Indiana Fever are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. I'm curious, are those same people going to be on TV this evening, tomorrow morning? Are they going to look in the camera and double down on the Indiana Fever are more dangerous without?
The organization's handling of Caitlin Clark has been questionable from day one. When the WNBA launched an investigation into alleged fan misconduct at a Fever game, it ultimately uncovered no substantiated evidence, yet the league's response felt out of touch, particularly toward the very fan base that has delivered record-breaking viewership and attendance numbers. At the same time, head coach Stephanie White's approach has raised eyebrows. Rather than designing a system around Clark's generational skill set, she's attempted to squeeze her into a pre-existing structure, an approach that feels more rigid than responsive. Let's call it what it is: coaching malpractice. When you have the league's most marketable and dynamic player, you don't force her to adapt to your system. You build your system around her.
Stephanie White is so stubborn to fit a circle in a square peg instead of utilizing the strengths of the team. And she probably felt relief because Caitlin Clark was hurt, that, oh, this is my time, I could introduce the culture and the system. And some actually bought in. And then when Caitlin Clark comes back, she doesn't know how to use her. That's not...
Now let's compare Indiana.
Now let's look at what's happening in New York. The Liberty aren't just defending champions, they're building a dynasty. With stars like Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquil Jones, they've formed a true super team. Head coach Sandy Brondello, a two-time WNBA champion, knows how to win. Her player-first approach puts talent in positions to thrive, rather than forcing players into rigid systems. The roster is deep and balanced. Natasha Cloud brings leadership and defense. Leonie Fiebig adds international versatility. Even role players like Kennedy Burke and Marine Johannes contribute with playoff experience. Most importantly, the Liberty have created a winning culture. Stewart set the tone with a championship mindset, and now, the entire organization is locked in on sustained success.
Liberty have shown her love. We've seen that as a bit of a theme. There was the moment between Stewie and Clark when Clark came back from injury the first time. And then there were some nice words. I missed the moment myself of them posted up there for a second. But there were some nice words from Liberty coach Sandy Brondello that I did capture. And I thought...
Imagine Caitlin Clark at point guard alongside Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. Her passing and vision would unlock an already elite offense, creating endless scoring chances and three-point barrages. It would be the most dynamic trio the WNBA has ever seen. But it's not just about basketball. The Liberty play in the country's biggest media market, backed by owners committed to winning. With top-tier facilities, a premier arena in Barclays Center, and a strong player-first culture, New York offers what Indiana doesn't. On and off the court, it's a perfect fit. Clark's skills would amplify the Liberty's strengths, and together, they could be unstoppable.
I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie contract is up. Because I have a feeling that with all the restricted free agency and everything, I think they're going to try to get rid of all coring out of the CBA. I don't think coring is going to be a thing. I don't think coring is going to be a thing in the CBA. And obviously, look, you're going to have to core players. And they're going to have to core Aaliyah a year earlier than Caitlin. And if they're scared Leah's going to leave, and if they're like, oh, we want to core and trade Caitlyn, then Leah leaves for nothing. And Caitlyn leaves for nothing. So
Who is insinuating? They're insinuating that Caitlin Clark could be trying to get the hell out of Indy. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. Your boy John Liquidator definitely want her to get out of Indy, bro. And it's this photo right here that is really heating up. I mean, this one right here is really breaking the bank, bro. This look, Sandy Bordello got her hand all on Caitlyn, bro.